Hey, Trez, before we get into the heart of this interview, as a fellow North Carolinian, welcome to the team,
Yes,
family.
sir, yes,
You know how
sir.
we do it in North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
But you're from the different side of the state. Tell me about Tarboro.
Small town, really, one of those communities that everybody kind of knows each other. It's not really a lot of, area around that, general area in general, man. It's a small city, man. I can't put it no other terms than that, man. But it's a place that teaches you a lot of character. It teaches you a lot of hard work. It teaches you that will of just wanting to, be better and get out of that area. Because it's definitely a place where it's easy to get in trouble, but it's definitely hard to get out of.
It's interesting to see how many people have kind of come through there that have made it in the professional sports realm.
Right.
I think of you, Todd Gurley,
Mm-hmm.
Drones, who played at Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Bryant, former NFL player, Mike Caldwell, former pitcher. I mean, you guys are producing, professional athletes. What's in the water?
Man, just like I said, that hard work, that determination for just wanting to get out of that area, man. We've seen all what the small cities have to offer, man. So we just want to just take our time and just be able to try to impose them into a bigger city and just, see there's something outside the city that we grew up in, man. I think that's what it's really about, man. Just that will and that hard work and determination factor. Just want to be better than where we come from, or just basically want to uplift where we come from, really.
Yeah, and as you know, from the great state, we produce a lot of NBA players.
That we do.
Has there ever really kind of been any bragging rights between you, CP, John?
Nah, honestly, because I think more so it's about the state of North Carolina. Honestly, man, I think we kind of, when we see each other throughout the summer, we kind of have those which city battles. But in general, when it's the overall conversation, I think it's more so about repping the state of North Carolina. Honestly, man, because we definitely been known as the hoop state for a while, man. So it's definitely about just imposing that will and just keeping people coming out of that area of North Carolina in general.
How in the world did you get out of the state? How did you end up at Louisville?
It's crazy, man. I played my 3 years at my public high school at North Edgecombe. My senior year, I ended up leaving and going to Hargrave Military Academy, and that's where I spent my senior year. I was already committed to play at the University of Virginia Tech, going up to Hargrave. Senior year comes around, going throughout my season, going throughout my senior high school year, and the coach ended up getting fired. And it was just a whirlwind of emotions, a lot of different things happening, what's going to happen next, what I'm going to do. It's a lot. But my manager, who was my manager to this day, who was my AAU coach since I was 14. He's been a great support system and just always had my back since I was a kid, man. And just him and my dad kind of went up there to the university, had a talk with the AD and the head coach at that point in time, and basically just told him, real man to man, just it's just best for me to just kind of get my letter of intent back if they could do something like that, because I didn't really sign up to play for this program. With you being the head coach, it was kind of like at a standstill for a little bit. But if they would have made me went there, I probably would have sat out my freshman year and then transferred the year after, just because I didn't want to go into a situation that I kind of didn't know where I was going to be utilized at or how I was going to be played. I signed up to play for Seth Greenberg, and if Coach Greenberg would have stayed the head coach, I would have been a Virginia Tech Hokie.
Wow.
But I went to Hargrave. I played my senior year. I was averaging some great numbers. And I had a teammate who was actually committed to go to the University of Louisville, and Ryan Taylor. But I don't kind of know what kind of happened with his situation. He was there for a postgraduate year, so I guess it was grades type situation. But Ryan's a great guy, but it fell through where a scholarship opened, and they ended up withdrawing scholarship for him. They seen me a couple times coming down playing and stuff like that, man. And like I said, when I opened back my letter of recruitment, I had maybe 15 to 20 schools just all playing at Hargrave alone. And I looked at it all along, it was going to be the best situation for me. And Louisville just felt right, just because, it was a team I feel like I can go there and play, I can help win, and they just made a run on the Final Four.
And listen, you get there, and man, you end up winning a national championship. What did that mean to you then, and how much are you more appreciative of that journey and winning a title and cutting nets?
Honestly, it is one of the most amazing feelings in the world, man, to actually just get up there and just go through that whole run in general, man, because I had a teammate, a guy who is still a friend of mine to this day, and Kevin Ware, who broke his leg in a tragic and just freak accident, man. Just something we've seen him do numerous times and multiple times throughout the year. And it rallied us so crazy, man. When that happened, man, it seems like, you know, there was no way that we was going to lose any game after that. And I literally felt that from all of my teammates, coaching staff, the whole city, man. And just for us to actually go on that run, and crazy how we did it. Man, that whole year was crazy, man. We had times where we was the #1 seed and came out and lost right after that. And, you know, we fought throughout the Big East tournament. We was down against Syracuse, 20-plus at halftime. Fought, came back and won the last Big East. I mean, everything was just aligned for us to go ahead and do it, man. And just to be a part of that, it was special. And even to this day, man, they just had Louisville live. And with all the unnecessary mess they had go throughout Louisville and all the things they tried to do to bring the program down, allegations and things like that, man, I was just welcome back after the little ban that I had, because I wasn't going to go on record or go on any wiretaps to, you know, disband the program. It had nothing to do with me. I felt that the mess that was going on, she was trying to go after a coach. So don't put me in that. It has nothing to do with me. If you can't make your case with that, I'm not going to help you make your case. That's all it was. And because I didn't feel it was my credit to talk on that situation, they banned me for 4 years. The ban just came up recently over this summer. Louisville Live, they welcomed me back with open arms. It's the first time they did it at Churchill Downs, man. I got so much love in that city, man. It's crazy. Like, literally, I to this day, I can go back to the University of Louisville, man, and the city will welcome me with open arms, man.
I told you before the interview, my sister's a graduate of Louisville, and she made sure she wanted me to tell you L1C4.
Yes, sir. Louisville first, Cardinals forever, man. That's exactly what it means.
Yeah.
And that's how the city is. That's how the whole, you know, University of Louisville, the whole Louisville, Kentucky, that's how they are, man. That's who they ride for. And it's amazing, man. Definitely is. In that city, that's the NBA team, man. They rally behind it, and you feel it. My kids, mom, my lady is actually from there, born and raised. My kids lived there probably up until the last, probably 3 years ago, until they moved. So, man, like I said, her mom, her family is still there, so we still go back and visit. I still got friends and guys that I consider real close friends that still there and own businesses. So, man, like I said, I got a lot of love in that city, man, and it just feels great to still have it, even through all the things that happened, the mess and all the crazy allegations and stuff like that, to still be able to go back and just feel love from the city. It's amazing.
There's a guy just up the street that last week Louisville surprised him and said they're going to retire his jersey. You might know him, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
How much do you follow him? Is there a connection? Have you guys met? What's that relationship
yeah,
like?
because we was actually in school around the same time, man. Lamar was a quarterback when I was still there. I want to say he was there my sophomore and my junior year. It was his freshman and sophomore year, so I think I'm a year ahead of him. I mean, we definitely communicate still through our social media, man. The kid's special, man. It was crazy because him coming throughout, you know, the whole high school era, everybody was comparing him to Vic, and I was like, I don't know, man. I'm an Atlanta fan, man. I don't know if you can give that kid that much leeway, man, saying he a Vic, but seeing the things that he did throughout college at the University of Louisville, man, going on to win the Heisman, and then, you know, carrying over to the NFL, man, and the things he does for Baltimore, man, the kid's amazing. He's definitely, if not the hands-on close comparison to the Vic that I've seen, man, and he still is able to do it with his arm, man, and you know, the kid is a guy that comes from one of those areas that's small, worked his tail off, and you see it just by his craft, man. He's a guy that wants to win. He's a guy that puts in the time, man. He's not one of these guys that's just out here doing all the stuff, playing pro. No, he puts the work in, and you actually see it. I mean, even to off the field, man. He's, you know, negotiating his own contract with his mom, man. That's big, man. You don't see guys doing that, man. And on top of leading the team in the NFL to a 5-1 record.
Right.
It's tough, man.
Yeah. I want to get back to you, man. Kind of tell me who were your biggest influencers growing up?
It's tough because one of my biggest influencers is my grandmother, who isn't here with me. And, you know, every day I still struggle and deal with her not being here. So she's probably definitely the biggest influencer in my life because she's a woman that was, you know, overcame all the different things that was thrown at her. Diabetes, partially blind, arthritis, a number of things my grandmother had, but you could never tell. Every day I seen her, every day we talked, every day we interacted with each other, it was like none of those things was, ever bothering her or was ever a factor. And to just see somebody go through all those things and still come up, still wake up every day with a smile on her face and keeping a household together, man, you can't draw up anything like that, man. My grandmother is, she's everything to me. Still to this day, like I said, I'm still dealing with the struggles of her not being here because losing her, I didn't get to say a proper goodbye. And it hurts, still to this day. But I deal with it. I have my kids, I have my family, people that I live to fight for, that I continue to, make our family whole because that's what she did for our family. So that's my biggest influencer. That's my biggest support system, even still to this day, because I got to carry on the things that she left behind. Yeah. And what I mean by that is I got to be that support system to our family. I got to be that one that keeps our family together. I got to be the one that makes sure our family stays afloat because she did it for so many years.
I know you had to leave during the bubble. Listen, this COVID thing's been difficult for everybody. It's the one thing that we all have in common. It's kind of how to deal with it. But you said something that really hit me, where you weren't able to grieve properly, at least at the time when she passed. How do you manage that every day? Because we all have lost somebody, and I don't think people understand we all have to deal with tragedy different. There's no timetable for it, Trez. You know what I mean?
Right. To be honest with you, I still haven't. I'm still trying to figure out how. I talk to therapists here and there. Some days are better than others. Some days I wake up and, some that came over me in my sleep, it's reminding me of her. Mm-hmm. And it's just plenty of times, man, that I had times where I'm going home and I've cried. I've seen something that, resembles me of her, something that reminds me of her, and I just cry all the way home, man. I pull in my driveway, pull in the garage, sit in the car, and I just cry. That's the only way I know how to cope and deal with it, because I'm not really one of those people that are looking for somebody to pat me on my back or somebody that continuously to hype me up and stuff. No, my dad is one of the best dads that I could ever had. Whenever I did something as far as like successful, no matter what it is, we talked about the things that was wrong first before we went on and talked about the things that was positive. Gotcha. Because the things that was wrong is the things that we need to fix before we can actually add to more positive things. So that's how my dad raised me. So, I'm still dealing with it to this day, man. As you can see, talking about it, man, like I tear up, I start to, build up that emotion because this woman is the reason that I even picked up this game and playing this game of basketball. My first sport I played was baseball, man. That's what I was good at. That's what my dad taught me, switch hit and all that. That was my sport. But I hit a growth spurt, and not saying I didn't like basketball. I watched it, but I didn't really, have a passion or a love for it like I do now. And my grandmother imposed that will on me, man. All the little toddler goals growing up, the Nerf goals that you hang up. I went through a million of those things, man, and it was all because of her. Stayed over my grandma's house a numerous amount of times, but the way my household was set up, I lived around the corner from my grandmother. You feel me? So my mom, my dad was at work. Shit, we getting off the bus, that's where I'm going, my grandmother's house, and 9 times out of 10, I'm staying there regardless, because and leaving me to go home around the corner, it's around the corner, you feel me? So, that's just how it was with my family. That's just how we've always been. So, be honest with you, I really don't even have no answer for that because I still haven't dealt with it. I'm still trying to every day. And to be honest with you, with that situation and how I am with my grandmother, I probably won't ever, be able to deal with it fully just because, I lost my best friend. Yeah. No other way to put it, man. I lost my support system. To a certain extent, I lost my best friend, I lost my buddy, I lost somebody that just means the entire world to me. And I didn't properly have a way to tell her goodbye, thank you, and I love you.
I wish you peace. I wish you find peace with that. Let me put a smile on your face.
Thank you, brother.
Tell me about your kids.
Oh, man. My kids. Man, what can I say about them, man? Everything, really, man. They're the brightest point of my day, man. FaceTiming them and, just actually, watching them grow up, even to the extent where, we're on FaceTime. My kids are so smart, man. They have their own phones. They know how to YouTube. They know how to do all the things in the world. My daughter's starting to sing now. She's 3. My son's 4. And just watching them grow and just watching them, you know, blossom as kids, man, it's the most amazing thing in the world, man. My son and my daughter both kind of understand the concept of basketball to the point where they love watching me. And then when I'm leaving or going to go do something, they know what I'm going to go do. So when I'm going to go play and stuff like that, they instantly hear me, Daddy, you go play basketball? I love that, man. Or whenever I FaceTime my kids, like when I walk out of here, well, later on they're in school right now, but FaceTiming them is instantly, they can pick up the phone and I can hold a conversation with them before they even have to take the phone to their mom. Like, you can't ask for nothing like that, man. And like I said, every time I see my kids, man, that's the smile and the light and the energy that they have that pops on their face, man, and then to hear them call me dad, you can't buy things like that, man.
Fatherhood, man, it's one of the best jobs in the world, isn't it?
Man, I went
and they get to see you play. What's that like with your daughter and your son when they see Daddy dunking the basketball and playing with all that energy?
It's amazing because my son goes home and he's starting to imitate it now.
Oh, are you?
He's imitating it now, man. He wants to shoot with the bigger basketballs and his little toddler goals and stuff like that, and I have to just coach him and tell him, like, yeah, we can get a bigger ball or heavier ball to fit the goal, but you can't shoot the ball that Dad used in your goal, son. So they're you know, imitating the dunks after me. My son, he's been shooting the basketball more because at first it was just running up to it and dunking it real hard, making the goal fall. So
sound familiar?
Yeah, tell me about it. So, man, like I said, it just goes back to see how smart they are, man, and really notice and pick up on the things that I do, even with it coming down to my job, man. And like I said, like you said, fatherhood is you can't buy feelings like that, man.
Yeah. So you've only been here a short time, but I'm here to tell you, on the record, man, you're a fan favorite already. It didn't take long for people to hit me on Twitter being like, man, Trez is that dude. What is it about the way you play that gravitates so much, you think, to a new community like D.C.?
My hometown, where I'm from, the culture, I want to say that the ethics I have as a man carries over to how I deal with my day-to-day lifestyle. You know, all the different traits and the characteristics that I have for my life as a man, that's how I handle it in the job. Like, this city, even though it was throughout the trade, you know, I'm a part of this team. And that's what I'm gonna ride for. You know, that's what I'm gonna put on my back. That's where I am. This is my city, you feel me? Because this is every day, you know, I lace up my shoes, I call the game of basketball my job. Playing for the city of Washington, D.C. is my job. So I'm going to do it to the highest extent. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, man. And I only know one way to play, and that's as hard as I can, you know, for as long as I can. Go out for a couple of minutes, come back and do it even more. That's how I am, man. And my characteristics and my traits off the court are the same as that way. I don't really deal with too many people. I keep a small circle. The only friends that I really negotiate with or really consider friends talking to every day is people that I grew up playing basketball with since I was 14. And that's all the people that, you know, my manager put me around. And it's just crazy how my life story goes, man. People don't really know, like, my whole background life story, man, because, you know, my manager that I have now was my AAU coach since I was 14 as a kid. Okay. We're both from that small city that you're talking about in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, in Tarboro. But he's seen something in me as a kid that me and my parents and my people didn't even see in myself at that point in time. And from that time on, he never had his hand out for nothing. He did more for us as a family and me as a kid than any man would have to do in his life. On top of him still doing for his kid who was a part of the team. You feel me? Like, my manager's family is my family, man. Like, literally, like, I stay over their house probably 7 months of the time that I stayed at home. And that's just how I am. Like, I don't really deal with friends. I don't deal with, you know, all that. I got a family. I got a tight circle. The people that's in that circle, shit, no matter what you do, 9 times out of 10, I'm riding for you. You feel me? Good, bad, ugly, we'll figure it out. You feel me? And we'll go about it. That's how I've been wired for so long, and that's how I've just molded myself to, you know, that it carries over to my workspace, man. So whenever I'm out there on the floor, whenever I'm out there on the court, That's who I ride for. That's what I play for. You know, that's who I am. You know, when I'm on that floor, I'm Washington, D.C.
Tell me about your leadership in communicating with Bradley Beal.
Honestly, man, I just try to be, you know, I guess that bad guy, that big dog voice, because Brad is one of those guys who do it by, you know, showing. He does it by example, man, and it's not wrong, 100%. As you can see, his game is up each year. Every year he's been here, and he's been in DC, what, 10 plus years? And he shows you, you know, his craft, his work. You know, he's willing to put in that work. He's just not a vocal guy. It's not him. I mean, it is what it is, you feel me? So I just try to, you know, bounce back and be the voice of the things that he's already saying, just even more louder. Because at the end of the day, I don't care.
Right.
Off the court, on the court, as people can see my social media, I don't care, bro. It is what it is, man. Either you like it and we go on about our business, or you don't like it, you say what you gotta say, I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and then it is what it is, because I know me. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I know me. As long as I wake up in the mirror and the person that I'm looking back in the mirror I'm okay with, that's the only thing that I gotta accept, bro. That person that looks in the mirror, bro, and God. Everything else, I'm not out here trying to get nobody's opinion. I'm not trying to get nobody's blessing to do anything. Because if I gotta do that, then obviously it's not meant for me to have. So.
All right, I want to finish with this on a lighter note. We do this thing called fast break. So it's rapid fire. You tell me first thing that comes to your mind.
Bet.
This ought to be fun. Fast break with Trez. What's one word that best describes your drip?
Elite.
Ooh, I like that. Favorite pair of sneakers you've ever worn during a game?
All of them.
What's more important, the peanut butter or jelly in a PB&J sandwich?
I ain't no big fan of either. I'm not a big fan of PB&Js, but I'll probably have to say jelly, man. You
jelly?
You eat peanut butter that too much, that's thick, boy. You start choking yourself now.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Yeah. I got a few actually. I'm real big into fashion, so I work on my clothing line. I'm just, my mind is real, you know, for the stretch of business in general. So I got a daycare, I got an Airbnb, so I'm a real
businessman.
Yeah, businessman. Like I love the game of basketball, and I'm blessed to be able to play it. But at the same time, I use the game of basketball and the talents that it brings me to be a businessman off the court. Because I learned early on in this stage, the ball is going to stop bouncing.
Yep.
No matter who you are.
So, basketball player, Fashion Nova, businessman.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
I fish and sing.
Oh, and you fish and sing?
Yeah, I like.
Oh, you put the singing last?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you give us a little bit?
Nah.
No, this is the Trez show.
I ain't got nothing for you right now. It's more so.
We was trying to get a world premiere, man.
I can't do it.
All right, maybe you do it on your Instagram.
Studio time for me. I got you.
What's a question people ask you that gets on your nerves?
Why is there L in my first name?
And you would say?
That my mama did it. I really don't know what answer to give you, man.
That's actually an interesting.
No, be real with you. It was kind of just one of those, you know. I hate to say this, but one of those black people things, I guess. One of those black people things, man, with being unique. You know, my mom did it. So my name is pronounced Montrezl, but it's L there. The L is silent. I never really, you know, A-E-I-O-U. Sometimes Y. I hear L. So, you know, hey, my mom did it. Hey, I roll with it. That's what she told me ever since I growing up. So, hey, that's what I am. But I go by Trez, man.
Trez, okay.
Make it way more easy for everybody, man, because you put the L up there.
People started trying to figure out how to put
Montrezl. Oh, my Jesus Christ. I done heard Montrezl. I done heard Montel. Like, how you pronounce the L, then you take out the Z and put in the E or A, like, and call me Montel. Like, I don't know, man, but yeah, that's probably the biggest one.
Last question. What is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show?
Mm-hmm.
I have two.
Okay.
That I've been watching for a long time. Well, one for definitely a long time. Law and Order Svu. And the one that I ended up getting hooked on is Chicago PD. Yeah. I got to go back
on
though.
NBC, by the way.
Yeah. I got to go back though, because I caught Chicago PD kind of late, and caught it where it was, and binge watching it all the way throughout. So I got to see where I got to see the earlier parts of my boy Al, how he died and all that. Like,
brother, I got to get you on the Peacock app. By the way,
I got it.
You got the Peacock app.
That's how I be watching at the house. That's how I be watching at the house. Yep.
I mean, come on.
Hey,
Execs
sure.
at NBC, could we do it any better than getting Montrez to say yes? He's already got the Peacock app.
Come on, man. I just need the free membership now. Hey.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, you
yeah, you got to sing for it. Yeah, sing for it.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Trez.
Yes,
I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir, for sure.